Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are about to jump into the world of architectural drafting.
A little help from RoleCatcher's career resources.
That's right. We're going deep
Hey,
into this topic.
imagine going from zero to architectural drafting hero.
I love it. And I have to admit,
What's that?
before we got this deep dive prepped and ready,
Yeah.
my architectural drafting knowledge was, well,
Yeah.
limited.
Oh.
I pictured someone hunched over a drawing board, meticulously drawing lines with a T-square.
I think we all have that image
Right.
stuck in our minds. And yeah, while those tools are still around,
Mm-hmm.
technology has totally changed the game.
So no more T-squares and endless rolls of blueprints.
You might still see them,
Really?
especially early in your career. But
Yeah.
these days, it's all about CAD software.
CAD software.
You got it.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know, and I'm raising my hand right now,
Okay.
what is CAD software?
It's like magic, but for buildings.
Okay.
Imagine designing a whole building, but it's in 3D.
Wow.
Right down to the last detail.
Uh-huh.
And then boom, you have these perfect plans and elevations.
That sounds amazing.
That's CAD software.
So what are the programs to know?
AutoCAD and Revit are the big ones.
I've heard of those, but what's the difference?
A common question.
Yeah.
AutoCAD's like that Swiss Army knife.
Versatile.
Exactly. You can use it for so many things.
Sure.
2D drawings, basic 3D, it can handle it.
Within Revit?
Revit's more specialized.
Yeah.
Building information modeling.
BIM. What's it
It's
called?
like 3D modeling,
Okay.
but on steroids. It's
Yeah.
not just about the visuals.
Right off.
It's about information embedded in every single part of the design.
Like what?
Materials, dimensions, energy efficiency, everything.
So it's like a digital blueprint with all the juicy details.
You got it.
That's got to be useful for architects and construction crews and everybody.
A game changer. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
No more lost in translation.
That makes sense.
Fewer errors, faster construction, and greener buildings.
Wow. So to be an architectural drafter these days,
Yeah.
you need to be a tech whiz.
Tech skills are key. But there's more to it than that.
Like what?
You need that human touch, that spatial reasoning, the attention to detail,
Yeah.
You got to take an architect's vision and turn it into something real.
So it's like you're a digital artist, but instead of paintings, you're creating buildings.
Exactly. And speaking of the creative process,
Yes.
let's dive into the daily grind of an architectural drafter.
Okay, give us the inside scoop.
It's more collaborative than you might think.
Really? Tell me more. Really? Tell me more.
It's not just like, okay, I designed this building and I'm done.
Right.
It's a whole process. And a drafter is there for pretty much all of it.
Okay, so walk me through it.
It usually starts with a client meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The drafter might not always be there for that first meeting,
Okay.
but the architect will get the client's needs, their vision.
So that's where they figure out what the client wants.
Exactly. Sometimes there are even some rough sketches, getting those ideas down.
I love a good sketch.
Then the architect takes those sketches, those ideas,
Yeah.
and starts turning them into preliminary designs.
Okay.
And this is where our drafter friend steps in.
Oh, here they come. They're going to make those sketches digital.
Exactly. They take those ideas and, using their CAD magic, turn them into digital models and plans.
So they really are like the architect's right hand, taking those dreams and making them a reality.
I like that. And it's a total team effort.
I done.
There's lots of back and forth as the design starts to really take shape.
Making sure it's both beautiful and structurally sound, right?
You got it?
Wait, structurally sound?
Yeah.
I never really thought about drafters needing to know about building codes and all of that.
Oh, yeah, big time. Remember our source material mentioned those drafting standards and guidelines?
Yeah.
Super important. Imagine this.
Okay, I'm imagining.
You've got this super cool curved wall in your design.
Okay, it looks awesome.
But then the drafter has to figure out if you can actually build the darn thing.
Oh, right. There are real-world limitations.
Exactly. Are the materials even strong enough? Will it survive an earthquake, especially if you're in California?
That's a good point. So they're not just making it look pretty, they're making sure it's safe.
Exactly. And that attention to detail can make or break a project.
Because one tiny mistake on those drawings
Yeah.
could mean big
It's
delays.
huge. And those delays cost money.
Sure.
It could even cause safety issues down the road.
Yikes. That's a lot of pressure.
It is.
So those problem-solving skills that RoleCatcher talked about, those are critical.
Absolutely. And as the project moves from those first designs to the actual construction documents,
Okay.
the drafter's role becomes even more technical.
Meaning?
They're basically creating the instruction manual for the whole building. Think
Whoa.
about it. They're creating detailed drawings of every little thing.
Like what?
Floor plans, sections, elevations, even down to the types of doors and windows.
That's a lot of detail.
It's like if the architect is the conductor of an orchestra, right?
Okay, I like that.
The drafter is the one writing the music for every single instrument.
Wow. I never thought about it like that, but it makes so much sense.
And just like a musician needs to be able to read sheet music, those construction crews rely on those drawings.
To build the whole thing. This is really making me appreciate every building I've ever been in.
Right. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes.
It's amazing.
And those super detailed drawings made with technical know-how and a little bit of artistry,
Yeah.
they are what makes those architectural dreams a reality.
Speaking of dreams,
Yes.
let's talk about the dream career path of an architectural drafter.
Oh, yeah. Our sources had some pretty cool insights on that.
They did. It's not like you're stuck in the same role forever, is it?
Not at all. There's a whole career ladder to climb.
So let's break it down. Where does someone typically start out? Where does someone typically start out?
Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're not expected to know everything right away.
All right.
It's more about learning the ropes.
So what kind of tasks are we talking about for a newbie drafter?
You're laying the groundwork.
Okay.
You'll be working with those drafting standards and guidelines, making sure all those drawings are up to code and match the firm's style.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. This is where that attention to detail really matters.
One tiny error could throw everything off.
For sure. You might be double-checking measurements, organizing files, even creating things like door schedules.
Sounds like a great way to get comfortable with the software.
It is.
So when do things get a bit more challenging?
Once you've got those basics down, you'll level up to junior drafter.
Ooh, junior drafter. What does that look like?
More responsibility.
Like what?
You might be creating more complex drawings, going out to actual sites to take measurements, even working directly with engineers.
Whoa, now things are getting real. You're not just drafting anymore.
You're part of the bigger picture, figuring out how all the pieces fit together.
And probably encountering some real-world challenges.
Oh yeah, like what happens when a design doesn't quite translate to real life?
Right, because it looked good on the computer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you fix it so that it meets the architect's vision, but also works with building codes? Those are the puzzles you'll solve as a junior drafter.
That's awesome.
Okay.
And I bet it's super rewarding.
The best feeling. As you get more experience, more confident, you move up to intermediate level.
And what's different at the intermediate level?
You become the mentor,
Oh.
guiding those brand new drafters, just like you were.
So you've gone from student to teacher.
It's pretty cool, but it also shows how much you've learned, how much you know.
Right, because now you're not just following instructions.
You're contributing your own ideas, your own expertise.
That's gotta feel good.
The best.
So we've climbed that ladder, put in the work, and now we're ready for the top.
You're talking about senior architectural drafter.
That's right. What does it take to get to that level?
That's where all those years of experience pay off.
I bet.
You're not just making drawings anymore.
What else are you doing?
You're leading teams, running projects, working side by side with architects.
Wow, so you really are like that conductor now, leading the whole orchestra.
I love that analogy. And the learning never stops.
What do you mean?
You might find your niche, like residential buildings or commercial spaces.
Yeah, or maybe even sustainable design, which our sources talked about.
Definitely. It's a growing field.
It's so important these days.
It is. Architects and drafters need to think about how to make buildings that are good for the planet.
So using green materials, designing for energy efficiency.
All of that. It's about thinking differently, pushing those creative boundaries.
That's amazing. It's like architectural drafting is shaping a better future.
I think so too. And that brings us to something super important that all our sources mentioned.
What's that?
Never stop learning.
So it's more than just keeping up with the latest software.
It's about being curious about the world, always trying to learn something new.
I like that. So whether you're digging deep into sustainable design, checking out VR, or going to those industry events,
It all matters.
it's about staying ahead of the curve.
That's how you become the best.
That's amazing. This has been so eye-opening.
I'm glad you think so.
We've covered so much ground.
From rough sketches to senior drafter.
We've talked about the skills, the challenges, and the huge impact this field has on the world.
We've learned a lot. Hopefully, our listeners have a new appreciation for everything that goes into creating the spaces we use every day.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will design those incredible buildings of the future.
I hope so.
Until next time, keep those design dreams alive.
And we'll see you the next deep dive.